catching. Phone froze up. I wasn't able to bring anyone on. Tried it for multiple pages. Still got the same result. So we're gonna try it again here in a second. Today is my Friday. So I wanna bring my weekend in with a bang. Salute to everybody putting in those 8, 12, 20 hours. The graveyard shift, part-time workers. Salute to everybody. You know what I mean? We want to give this chat some time to catch up before we move on. Hope everybody's feeling well today. I see, bro. Let's try this again.
Salute.
What up?
Luke, what's going on, man?
Hey, good, man. We finally got this shit straight.
Yeah, man. I know we had some problems yesterday, man. We got, we back though, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up?
How everything going, man?
Oh man, shoot, it's going lovely over here, man. Today my Friday. I got a graduation to check out tomorrow, so it's family time tomorrow. But yeah, everything copacetic. It was a good week, celebration week.
Congrats.
Yep.
Every day is a day to celebrate.
Yes, sir.
That sun over them trees, man, looking nice.
Yeah, it's that country time, man. You know what I'm saying? It's peace.
Already.
You want that peace to go with it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I mean, what
So
you
am I?
good with
Yeah,
it?
I was
I
gonna say,
know
am I
you've
coming?
been.
Am I coming in good? That's all I wanted to know because I'd be probably having trouble with these. Am I coming in okay?
Yeah, you straight.
Okay.
I know we tried to get on here yesterday. I don't know what's going on with IG and got like messing up on my end trying to bring people on, and just like my screen was freezing and everything, and I tried to get on to the other page. It was doing the same shit. I just stopped it up as an ill man and went on with the rest of my evening. So we
But
back at it, you know.
yeah, we back at it. But before we get started, how was your week and how was your day too, sir?
It was blessed, man. I had some bumps here and there, you know what I mean. I guess who doesn't have them, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not a day. Nobody goes through an entire week, let alone a day, without something going on. But I did get some good news, you know what I'm saying? So you got take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, you mind sharing us the good news?
Oh, I got my I got my wheels
That's what I'm talking about.
and yeah,
Congratulations.
finally got yeah. Just got my title in the mail today.
Amen. Amen.
So I gotta wait another 2 weeks before I can get the joint registered and get tags and all that. But yeah, it's looking like I'm back on the road.
Well, look, congratulations, man. You do deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Anything with some work, man, it's gonna pay off anyway. You know what I'm saying? We gotta appreciate the small things. That's the problem. People don't appreciate the small things.
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me though. I had to learn the hard way.
Oh yeah.
Try to keep up with the Joneses and shit. But you
Yeah.
know, God I ain't got no note. Everything is in my name.
Okay. Wonderful.
You know what I'm saying? So I can do what I want with it. I choose and see it. I think I'm gonna do a lot of things differently than I did the first time.
Yeah.
So,
You thinking different, huh?
yeah.
You ain't gotta tell me. I already know. All right. So before we get in on tonight's topic, I think it's right because I think you had did a show maybe like a week ago. Was it like a week ago? I think it was like a week ago maybe about the top 10 TV dads.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean,
you mind reading me off your list? We ain't gonna stay on it too long. I just
so
wanna get my list and we can move
well,
on.
well, my list consisted of, and I'm not gonna put it in no specific order. I had Michael Kyle from My Wife and Kids. I had Homer Simpson. I had James Evans. I had well, let me switch. Let
What
me
what
switch over.
what was your top five though?
Battery on my Bluetooth is low. It's about to switch over.
Yeah. I had to do the same thing. Take your time.
Yo.
Yeah, this
I'm here.
better. That's better. That's a lot better.
So my top five, I mean, just off bat that I can think about is James Evans,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Michael Kyle, Red
Mm-hmm.
Foreman,
Who was Red Foreman?
that 70 show.
Okay, he number three. Okay.
Bill Cosby. Now,
Mm-hmm.
mind you, they're not in any specific order.
But that's what we try. That's what we trying to do.
I don't. I, see, but if you want to do a real order, we gotta really break it down. I can't just
I mean, okay.
tell you.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is to see, who's number, because you got a top 10. You want to see who's number one on that list. So, top 10.
So
You know, it got to be some
James,
type of rank.
well, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, James Evans is number 1 on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to go into the science behind it and the reasoning behind it, we can. But that's a
I'm
strong
I'm not
contender
arg-
for one.
I'm not gonna argue your opinion. I just wanted to know order. That's all.
Yeah, I don't have a order outside of him being one. Him being one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I wanted to say I'm gonna put Robert Townsend at number 3. I'm gonna put Carl Winslow at number 2. I'm gonna put Bill Cosby at number 4, and Michael Kyle at number 5. That's how I'm gonna do that.
So that's your top five.
Yeah,
Pretty steep.
I'm waiting to hear yours because this was your topic, and we didn't get into it. I had a whole live where I broke down every character from 1 to 20 because there was actually 20. There were actually 20 names. TV Dad. I didn't know that some of them were TV Dad. We had we had the guy from the Brady Bunch. There was a couple of names on there that I'm not
I
even
don't I
mentioning. That's
don't
why I say,
I remember shows, but this is how I break it down. I do remember shows growing up. Like I'm like we got to go all the way back. You got some shows that was happening in the '70s. That was some good examples of a dad. You got some shows that I can probably relate to that happened in the '80s. That was great. They had great dads then, and then it went to the '90s. To me, once the 2000s kind of kicked in, it it was a little different the way the shows was looking. You know, it didn't have that same feel. I think to me the '90s was probably like the last era of that dad. You know what I'm saying, that we was used to, that TV dad. I'm not saying that it still wasn't good, but it wasn't, to me it wasn't like original. It wasn't something that we kind of came up on. It kind of changed. It shifted. So for me, you got, like you say, it was a show called Growing Pains. If you remember that, Growing Pains.
Robert Dick.
That was he was a I don't really remember the name of him. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
He was
But I know.
on that list.
Okay, but to me he was a great dad though, no doubt. He was a great dad. I mean he had a whole family. He was married. He had a wife on there. And what I like about him that I can remember as a kid is that whenever whenever his kids had got out of line, or they had an issue or something like that, he really set them straight. Like he applied logic to the problem, and he really knew how to calm the situation down. And he was real supportive of his wife too. Like whatever she was trying to get the kids to do, he had her back too. At the same time, he corrected the kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's a lot of great examples, but I'm gonna just give you my top five, and we're gonna go ahead and get it out the way. Uh, my top five, it's a lot of great ones, but I got at five. I'm gonna have, okay, at five. I'm gonna go with Danny Tanner from Full House.
So,
Danny Tanner.
or
Danny Tanner is no longer here, but he was, to me, he was, he kind of stick out in my childhood. You know what I'm saying? I used to, you know what I'm saying, if anybody's old enough to remember, on Fridays, every Friday you get out of school, or people got off work, you had a lineup on Friday night, came on at 8 o'clock. It was called TGIF. The original TGIF, Full House was the head of the show. So you had to watch that family. You know what I'm saying? He lost his wife, I think, when his daughters was little. He had his wife's his deceased wife's brother, which was named Uncle Jesse, moved in the house after that happened. That was his sister that passed, and he had a best friend named Joey Gladstone who moved in also, and his girls was young, and they all kind of formed a little team and help raising the girls. So you know that's I gotta put Danny Tanner up there, man, because they had some of the best stories in television. See, it's not just one character; it's the storytelling. You know what I'm saying? So if you can identify with them stories, and it's people that can probably memorize episodes. If you can memorize episodes, then yeah, you gotta you gotta put Danny Tanner in there, man. I'm gonna go with Danny Tanner plus the comedy. You know what I'm saying? Because out of all the seriousness, they had laughable moments that you can remember too. So they knew how to capture uh, a funny moment, and then they calm it down and show you a serious moment. You know what I'm saying? And the viewers can kind of understand that. But I got Danny Tanner at 5. I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna roll with it's a tough one for me. I'm gonna roll with James Evans at 4. I'm gonna go James Evans at 4. I'm gonna go Carl Winslow at 3. Uncle Phil at number 2, and then I gotta give it to the GOAT of television, the person that they ain't want to give no props to. He is the GOAT. Bill Cosby, Cliff Huxtable is my number 1 TV dad ever. I mean, out of all the TV dads, to me, you can't honestly look at a show, a series, an episode, and you can honestly say that somebody outparented Cliff Huxtable. I mean, did a better job with their kids than him. I'm not saying they're not great, but I'm saying clearly was better than him. You can say I don't mind somebody saying that they was on his level, because there's a lot of great TV dads. But I can't in my childhood, me growing up watching all these shows, I can't sit up here and say this dad was clearly superior to Heathcliff Huxtable. I can't do that. He had a great story behind it. Everybody tuned in. Like I say, storytelling. He had it all. He had the family. He had the wife. He had the career, and he had the damn lessons. And I ain't even got to count the money. It's not about the money. He had the lessons that he showed his kids. If you do this gonna happen. If you do that, that's gonna happen. Like I said, you could throw Uncle Phil in there too. Uncle Phil would teach them, even though he was rich, he had a lesson behind his struggle. He let them know that he struggled to get to where he was at. You know what I'm saying? So to me, yeah, them was some great. That's my top five though. I'm gonna stand on it. And we can go
I'm
down, but
not
that's my top five.
see if we was going to do breakdowns, then I could have did that too. You know what I mean? I mean, I already did it, but nah, I ain't mad at your list. I ain't mad at your list.
And so we can let's name the show: Full House, uh, Good Times, Family Matters, because Family Matters was TGIF too. Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and The Cosby Show. You know, that's top five. And if you look at the ratings, I don't think you could pull another show or another anywhere and say they had more ratings than them. You can't think of another show that was more watched than them shows. You can go step by step. They was in there. You can go
Honorable,
Tim the Tool Man Taylor. You can
honorable.
go you can walk through the shows and you can't tell me that there's another any of them shows was more compelling than them.
Step by step was my shit.
Brady Bunch. Brady Bunch was in there.
Another one that I forgot to mention, which was one of my favorites, was Boy Meets World.
What's that?
Boy Meets World. You must live under a rock.
Okay, yeah, Boy Meets World deserves some credit. The only thing about Boy Meets World is that Mr. Feeney was the more wise of the dad. Like he really looked after them kids over the dad. He was more of a bigger character than the dad. Even though the
Oh,
dad was dad, but
so
Mr. Feeney had a hand on every kid on that show over the dad.
I mean, he was a teacher, of course, but if you really want to nitpick, then at the same time, Danny Tanner, you know what I'm saying? He had Rebecca, Jesse, Joey. He had help too. So I mean,
I, I
what
mean,
do you say?
yeah, he did. Then Danny Tanner had a lot of help. Let me put that on. And outside of him, you know, the kids was really, you know, influenced by Uncle Jesse. They love some Uncle Jesse on that show. No doubt about it. They love their uncle. But but I can say into Danny Tanner's defense, and you can clearly look at it, is that other than Danny Tanner on that show, he was the only one on that show that had that order. You know what I'm saying? He was dad, but he had that rank, that order. You could kind of see the difference
No,
between
what
Danny and everybody else that dealt with him.
he was OC too at
He
the
was
same
a
time.
Danny
I
Tanner
forgot.
was a neat freak. Uncle Jesse and
Yeah,
them wasn't no neat freak like Danny. He
nah,
he kept that house
he
clean.
ain't like that shit.
Yeah, he kept his house clean. Everybody had to, and then he even made the uncle and the friend and everybody in the house clean like they kids.
Yeah, he did. He did.
So come on,
Yeah.
that's a straight father, bro.
So so how how you got him at what was that number five? You had him
I got Danny Tanner at 5.
you had him at five, but you got Uncle Phil at number what 3 or 2? But
I got Uncle Phil at 2.
but he he, he spoiled Hillary. Hillary was a gold digger, bro. He spoiled the hell out of her.
Yeah, he did. He did.
So I mean, I give him his career. he was a
But,
successful judge and lawyer.
right.
His his wife actually, I think his wife was more involved with the family uh, setting than he was. I mean, he had his hand in it, but he was more or less the wallet. If you ask.
Yeah, but see, yeah, Uncle Phil was a great provider. But this the thing. When you talk about great providers, fathers do supposed to provide. That's one of the things they gotta do. They got kids. That means you gotta have money. You gotta be able to help your kids. But this is why I put Uncle Phil at that rank. I gotta give Uncle Phil his props because not only did he struggled and he got to be what he was a lawyer at first. You see what I'm saying? If you go back to the episodes, he went from a lawyer to a judge.
I said
Yeah.
that.
So he worked to get that. See what I'm saying? So you gotta look at that. So he made more money as the show went on, and he kept a mansion. So I mean, you could probably say, okay, maybe we need to say Uncle Phil is bougie because he had a mansion in Bel Air. But but if you remember, the reason why I give Uncle Phil his props because he had a background that he didn't when it came down to it, he didn't mind getting level headed. He didn't mind coming down to earth. And then he took in his wife's nephew and raised him too. You see what I'm saying? And he already had 3 kids. You see what I'm saying? That's a big that was something different in the 90s. That wasn't
All right,
that wasn't normal on TV, bro. Come on.
but
That stuff wasn't
but
normal.
but Dan, Danny brought in his his deceased wife's brother, his soon to be wife, the twins that they had together. Joey, he had a way bigger household.
Family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he brought in 4 people. On top of that, Michelle and the daughters. I mean, just the daughters in general. They weren't spoiled and shit like that. They wasn't out there thought like Hillary was. They ain't had their hand out every episode, shopping every episode, getting weave and all this extra extravagant shit in their head and all this shit. Hell, look at I think the only person that really got
But he's
hell was um
Ashley.
Uncle
Ashley.
Ashley.
She was the
She was the
she
main one who
she
got.
she was the baby. That was his baby, man. You know what I'm saying? That's I mean, and she was the baby, and she was his girl. You know, she was his little girl. But this the thing, Uncle Phil also not only did he didn't get that he got down to earth, he had to get in conversations with Will because Will was from Philadelphia. He wasn't from Bel Air. You see what I'm saying? So he's coming from a up north. He's coming from the kind of like the hood spot. So Uncle Phil get his props because he was able to reach him, and the only way he was able to reach him is not forget where he came from. He could have just forgot like I ain't living like that no more. He was trying to get Will in line. He could have been like, man, I ain't my mind ain't on that no more. But he was letting Will know I came from that, bruh. All that stuff you talking, I came from that. So you ain't got to come over here with the hood mentality and all that. I'm gonna show you how to replace that and take care of yourself. So it wasn't just about the money, even though he had lots of it. He was giving these kids life lessons. Colton had to learn a lesson. He was spoiled. He thought it was all about money. You know what I'm saying? I'm,
Hey, look, I ain't trying. I'm not trying to change your mind on your list. I'm just just looking a little bit at it, and, and I ain't even trying to go too deep into that. We can we can, but I know there was something else that you wanted to get into. That's why I was trying. stay a little bit away from that. But I'm not knocking your list. You named a lot of dope people. A lot of them, a lot of them that you named are on my list too. And that's just five. We had already named honorable mentions that I forgot. But I ain't mad at those at all.
But we gotta give some props to some other dads that was dealing with stuff. We got family ties with Michael J. Fox. Let's go back to the '80s real quick. Get you together.
Mm-hmm.
We had my man Webster. What's good?
227.
Gary Coleman and them boys. Let's go back. You know what I'm saying?
227.
We had some, and see back then that was the late '70s. You know what I'm saying? Hey Arnold. You see what I'm saying? We can go back now, and
Yeah,
it was, you know what I'm saying? Now I can't put them ahead of none of the people I named, but you know they had some standout performances. Hmm We can go back. We can go to let me see what's another one that was great. We can go to Mr. Belvedere, bro. What's up? Remember Mr. Belvedere?
Mr. Belvedere was there. Mr. Belvedere wasn't a dad. He was a buck.
He 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 was a butler, but he it was a TV dad on that show. Even though we can go and say Tim the Two Man Taylor, Home Improvement, he was a dad of three boys. You know what I'm saying? But who was giving the boys advice? The neighbor, right? And he gave Tim Two Man Taylor advice. He was kind of like Mr. Feeney for Boy Meets World. The man that you never saw his face.
More or less. More or less.
Who else we can throw out there? I just had another one. Oh yeah, Roseanne. He was in the mentions. Dan Connor from Roseanne.
I spoke on him. Spoke on
I mean he
him.
he had
He was
a lot of problems. That family was kind of, you know what I'm saying, rocky a little bit with
right.
Roseanne.
Nah, that was the trailer park version of the Fresh Prince.
He was kind of
That's
like
just
king of the hill a little bit.
uh, hell no.
Yeah, that was like the modern version of King. I mean,
Hell no.
I don't even know why he was in the top five. You know, they had him originally in the top five. Dan Connor is not in the top five. I mean, he had Darlene was a menace on that show. We can go to DJ and the oldest one, but that middle child, she was putting in work a lot. She was running them.
Yeah,
She even had hmm?
yeah. Her sister was for the street too.
Yeah, she was wild too. But Darlene was the one. Especially
And then don't forget his son was soft when he was younger.
you softer
He
than
was
you
all he
remember
was
Lil Wayne
always
made a
he
verse. He said you softer than
yeah,
Roseanne's son.
yeah. He was always underneath her. Always.
So so that right there should tell you his middle child when she got teenage she got knocked up. You know, got her pregnant and all that. I mean, they had some issues on that show, but Dan Connor could have been more effective, bro. I mean, yeah, he was a little funny and all that. He played what? He played Fred Flintstone and all that. But nah, you ain't top five to me. Mm-mm. You ain't nowhere near
Uh,
somebody like Danny Tanner. No,
you know, he I had him on my list. He was probably around 9 or 8.
if he on there, he got to be right down in there. If he on there, I mean, yeah, Roseanne was a hit, but was it Roseanne? And then another thing, I'm gonna be honest, Roseanne was kind of the one kind of running it a little bit. That's another thing. Yeah,
That's how that's how I felt about
he always
uh
was trailing Roseanne on that show.
that's how I felt about Uncle Phil and Viv.
No,
He
no, Uncle
he dissed it.
Uncle Phil,
He dissed
Uncle Phil wasn't like Dan Connor, bro. Come on, man.
he disciplined to a certain degree, but he still was spoiling his kids.
He was because he was a great provider, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Providing and providing and spoiling is two different things. You can get
Matter
the
a
bare and
matter of fact, because you bring up Hillary, we did bring up Hillary a few times. It was easy to discipline Hillary because she was taking advantage. She was the oldest. She was taking advantage of her dad's lifestyle. I got a butler. I ain't got to clean up, so let me keep making messes. Um, my dad, you know, he's a lawyer. Then turned to the judge. You know what I'm saying? So all she, and then he pulled her into the what was that called? The pool house. Remember the pool house? She had that. You know what I'm saying? But let's not forget that that she ended up being a TV anchor. You gotta look at how something started and then how something finished. She had her own show too. You know what I'm saying? So she ended up getting her own stuff, and she had a remember she married the TV anchor dude, and he
that's
ended up
how she got her own
and
show.
she ended up dying.
Not Will the reason why she got that show.
Yeah, but the dude Trevor ended up dying. But anyway, all he had to do with her is take her and say you can't get the gold card, and she grounded it. That's it. That's all you had to do with Hillary. You ain't had to spank her. You ain't had to yell at her or nothing. Just take away her resources, and she gets the lesson. That's it. With Will and Carlton, he had to give up talks, man. Back in the day, the real great fathers, they always had a reason behind why they discipline you or why they do this or why they do that. If you ain't never get no lecture from a man, then you ain't had no real father. You ain't had no you wasn't around no real great father. And this goes back to all the other topics we covered when we was talking about feminine men and they not moving masculine enough. If you ain't had that, it's a lot of feminine dudes out here. Because I mean, when I'm saying masculine, I don't mean just getting the spanking and all that. Because not that's that's not helping you. I mean, you ain't never have a masculine man teaching you how to grow your mind, how to move and walk out here. If you ain't let's look at the Cosby Show and just look how Bill was like the master. He was creative. He was like the master of getting his kids to see the fucking point. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to spank you,
Eh,
but I'm gonna get you to see. I'm gonna get you to see why what I'm showing you, and I'm gonna teach you this good lesson. And he always wanted to make that point to them. So once they understood that, it
I
what's it?
don't,
Hmm?
go ahead.
No, you say go ahead. You say he didn't do that.
In terms of um the overall totality, the look, It looks like we're going down this
Mm-hmm.
road. James Evans exemplified struggle way more than all of them. He he worked overtime. He got fired. He walked off jobs. Rent was damn near due. Eviction notices was hitting their front door. Electricity was getting cut off. Water was getting cut off. They dealt with racism almost every episode, damn near. That show had more substance in it than damn near
Well,
any of it, in my opinion. And then at the same token, James Evans was he didn't come off like like uh this shape. If we being real about it, how many black parents, fathers are actually doctors at that particular
that
time? I'm not talking
that's
about 2000.
it.
I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about back then. How many doctors was really black back then?
In the 70s and 80s.
The real shit is the real black fathers was sweating, taking shit, eating shit, dealing with bullshit on the job, crappy jobs, jobs they didn't want or like, but they had to do them because that was their source of income. That was the real shit that we know about. That's what I identify with my
That's
book.
why I got
Um,
him in my top five, bro. I gotta put him in my
but
top.
but
He the only
I,
one on. He
I,
the only one in that top five. Is he's the common man. That's what you're talking about. He the most he the most relatable father that we could probably relate to, far as you know what I'm saying. He when you talk about his financials, because he lived in poverty,
it's not
bro.
even it's not just
He
about
lived in
you keep on focusing
he lived
on
in poverty
your
though, bro. That's
you
still gonna be a
exactly
knock on James
but
Evans.
you keep focusing on the financial. Yes, that is one of the most relatable parts about him. Cats was broke. We didn't have bread like that. Motherfuckers was not eating like that. We was fucking with ketchup sandwiches and all type of little shit like that. Niggas was not doc coming home to caviar and this and that, button up sweaters and
Yeah,
all that fancy food. And then on top of that, he was not soft. He was rugged. He was like, I'm gonna whoop your ass if you ever speak to me like that. Or if you ever talk to your mother like that, I'm gonna whoop your ass. He was all hands on. He wasn't filtered. He was very blunt and direct. Now Bill had his own approach, but he was not direct like that. And he was not, when it came to punishment, there's no comparison. When it comes to discipline, there's no comparison
and
between him and Bill Cosby.
no, but that's what I'm saying. James Evans was more the common man. Like I said, he got physical. He was the most one that got physical. And but looking back on it, that's why it's so relatable. Because looking back on it, why? So why he did that? If you look at Thelma, if you look at Michael, and if you look at JJ, if you look at his three kids, right? He had three kids, right? You you had a wife too, Florida Evans. She wasn't no slouch. She's a queen. She's a true black queen he had. So it wasn't like he was single. He wasn't dealing with them all by himself. But I will say this: did they really need their ass whipped? If you if you look at all three of them, did they really need their ass whipped? He didn't. If you look at his kids and compare it to the other kids of these fathers, his kids was in check. They was all respectable for the most part,
Yeah,
all of them,
because they got ass whooped.
because of that black queen.
They they got ass whooped. That's why they was in check. he made.
but that what I mean they did get their ass, but what I'm saying is they didn't really need a lot of them. James
No,
James Evans was on their helmet a lot, and it wasn't. But outside of the whoopings, I gotta put him in my top five because outside of the whoopings, outside of the money, because he was broke. That's a knock on him because that's you had kids. You had kids. Your job as a father is to provide. I can't. He did try though. He didn't leave him. You see what I'm saying? But most common dudes would have just left the woman and left because he couldn't provide. James Evans, James Evans stood on all 10. You know what I'm saying? I got that's why he in that conversation. I got to put him in my Mount Rushmore because he didn't have the money of the other fathers, like we just said, but he had the valuable lessons that he gave to his kids. You see what I'm saying? That shit counts. That shit counts. That's really one of the biggest things about being a father. If you can't pass nothing down to your kids so they can live a better life than you ain't no great father then. You're not. And that's all he was really drilling in his kids about how he jumped on Michael about fucking up in school, even though Michael was smart as a whip. He always had to use the belt to convince Michael about his lesson that he was trying to teach. But he was trying to teach him a lesson about education. But he had to put a little press on him. You know what I'm saying? So because he wanted him to understand that, son, I didn't go to school. What he dropped out in sixth grade or something, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you ask me, that's why James Evans was kind of like physical with them because he didn't have the proper education that the other fathers had to discipline him in another manner. You see what I'm saying? Education counts. James Evans
I
didn't
don't know.
have that education like that. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know. But
What you mean?
I'm on the fence with that.
He didn't. He dropped out of school.
I mean, that don't have nothing to do with his parenting skills, though.
I mean, I understand that he still was trying to make his kids better. That's my point. That's why I'm giving him the credit. He tried to make up for where he lacked. He did lack. Cause think about it. If I'm gonna be honest with you, since we putting it on the table, this no cap all world. Florida Evans was the damn queen. He was lucky to like Florida Evans, um, Claire Huxtable, like women like that. They don't come often. They don't come often. And what
I
I am gonna say,
respect.
this: if Florida Evans, because her character was legendary on the show, she really kept that man going. She she the reason probably why he didn't leave and didn't give up on the family. If you really think about it, she was a damn queen to keep him up. You got to look at the part she played in the making him a great father, bro. She played a huge role in that. I don't you think he could have handled that if Florida Evans wasn't on that show? Hell no. Hell
I got a,
no. Three kids?
I got, I got a rhetorical hypothesis.
Go ahead.
Let's switch. Let's switch wives in this scenario.
Okay. I want to hear this. This is
Let's
good.
say
I was about to make a point, but I want to hear what you want to say. Go ahead.
let's say Claire Huxtable is married to James
Uh huh.
Evans, and
I like where you going.
Florida,
It's married
if
to
Florida
Bill.
is married,
The Bill.
yeah,
Uh huh.
does the dynamics change? Does the relationship change? Does the parenting change?
You look. You about to make my point. You make up my point for me. So what I was gonna say was, yeah, it would change. Because I was about to say this about Florida Evans. What I was gonna say was, if Florida Evans was if she was if her attraction level was on the level of Claire Huxtable, she would have left James. I think that's the only reason why Florida Evans stayed. She couldn't get nobody better. Think about it, bro. Look at Claire.
So so
Look at Claire
so
Huxtable.
Claire, only, so the only reason Claire the only reason Claire married Bill was because he was rich and because he was a doctor.
That had a lot to do with it. Yeah, she couldn't. She Bill was good, but listen. If Bill didn't have that career that he had, like a doctor, she wouldn't have married Bill and lived with Bill. Hell no. And she damn sure would have left James Evans. Look at James Evans and look at Bill. What you think would have happened? Look what she look. Let's look at that shit. You think she gonna live there? Claire Huxtable? Hell no. And then
but
she shouldn't have to. She wouldn't have, you know why? This is what I'm trying to tell you. She wouldn't have because what? Look at her. You see what I'm saying? If you go back to the 80s, I mean I know she old now and all that, but Claire Huxtable was she was like a premier face of the 80s on TV, bro. You can
wow,
you can kind you can you
wow.
can kind of put her up there with um you can put her faces up there with Diana Ross. Like who else was out back then? You could put Claire Huxtable face up there with them. Now, yeah, if she was married to James Evans, she would have divorced that man. If he wouldn't have provided, if he wouldn't have been like she's the type of woman. Okay, she is a good teammate. She's a good woman. Don't get it twisted. Claire's a good woman. She had Bill Cosby back like oh get out. But the difference is she the type of woman that she got to see you doing better. She got to see you going up. Cause look at her
Was
drive, huh?
was was Claire Huxtable a gold digger?
No, I want to tell
Was
you why.
was
No, I'll tell you why. Because Claire Huxtable had a career too. If Bill Cosby and Claire Huxtable, Cliff and Claire decided to get a divorce, they both could have they both had a little play. They would have downsized a little bit back then because that was in the 80s. They would have downsized a little bit, but both of them could have been great parents to their kids without being with each other. Yeah, they had careers to fall back. They both of them had great careers. A gold digger is she never would have been a lawyer, and she just would have stayed, lived been a housewife, and let him make all the money as a doctor. That's a gold digger. She ain't do that. That's why it wouldn't have worked with her and James Evans because she was crushing. Like back then, that was real noticeable. If she was a lawyer and James Evans was doing what he was doing, man, James Evans would have came home and his wife would have been with another man. So she wouldn't have stayed with no damn James Evans, and she a damn lawyer. Come on, that's not happening. Now I will say this: she wouldn't did it immediately, but if James Evans wouldn't have picked it up, yeah, Claire was out the door. Look how Claire looked compared to Florida. And did Florida ever have a job? Oh, yeah, you ain't want to throw that out there. Let's throw that out there on Good Times. Let's throw the Good Times real quick. You remember when James Evans?
and now we get into the shit. Now
Okay,
we
yeah,
get to the
let's
shit.
get into it
This
because I watched
this
it now.
this because this was my point. This is why I had him at one. His wife was a traditional woman, all the way down
She was a
to
damn queen, bro. She was a queen.
fucking. She was the bro. You talk about tradition.
Yeah,
She was a
she was
stay home. She was a stay at home mother.
and wife. Yep.
She 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 stayed by his side through things that 98% of the women today would turn their eye and their whole ass. There's no way anyone in this age would have been able to withstand or deal with anything that Claire Huxtable, in my opinion, would never do. Claire Huxtable to me was what modern women are now. She was just more stable because she actually utilized her hypergamous nature
Mm-hmm.
to to grab and hold on to the ideal candidate that best suited her lifestyle.
Okay,
But
let me say this. Claire Huxtable she was a real wife though. Do you remember that episode that she had with Evan, Sandra, her first daughter's husband? That he didn't really know he was confused on why she brung uh Bill Cosby a cup of coffee. Remember that? And she had to break it down to him. And what she broke down to him is the rules. It's rules to being somebody's wife, and it's rules to being a husband. Like this is she's like that's my husband. She say you. She say I serve my husband, and my husband serves me. It ain't no one side thing. This is a merge. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think going back to the modern day, the women they don't understand shit like that. But they don't. But they claim they want to be, you know, merged, or they think they're merged material. But the way she broke that down to Evan, a a lot of females today don't get that. They don't understand that concept. You have to, you have to be a servant to your husband. That don't mean you is a dog or whatever they think they is. It's just doing your duties. And in return, a husband supposed to, take care of his wife. It's called a teamwork. If you're not willing to serve and help somebody's life out, man, you don't holler at I want a ring on my finger with a ring at, and I ain't that's wifey material. Like no, you're not ready. So Claire Huxtable broke that down. She understood the rules of merge, and Flo Florida Evans was loyal. She got to be one of the probably the most loyal wives in TV history, bro. Because look at the conditions that James Evans had them in. They was in the ghetto. They could have got killed. They ain't had food sometimes. Like you said, the lights was cut. Man, come on, bro. You think Claire Huxtable putting up with that? She got a damn college degree. She would have
that's
left James Evans so fucking fast.
and that's why and that's exactly why I asked the question because you say she knew what it was to be a wife,
Yeah.
but I challenge you to ask yourself this: was she
Being
being
a
a
wife,
wife?
being a
Wait, huh,
go ahead.
was wait was she being a wife out of survival or because it was what she wanted to do? Was it out
Yeah,
of survival because of the type of level he was on, and she knew what she had, and she didn't want that to be stolen from her, so she had
no,
to adjust.
Bill
Did she have
Cosby,
to adjust?
no, Bill Cosby was on her level, bro. It was easier. Listen. It's easier to be a submissive wife if you find somebody on your level. You think she gonna do that for James Evans? Look at Bill and look at James. That's different. Come on, bro. She wouldn't have did that for James what she did for Bill. She was more submissive, probably if she was put like this, she was dating James instead of Bill, she would have been arguing like shit with James Evans when he got in there from work. Think about
And
that
why is
shit,
that?
bro.
Why would she be arguing with a man that's working?
Because she's trying to get him to do better for the family. They got kids, bro. You know
Is
what I'm saying?
is it her trying to make him do better, or is it her trying to obtain more financially for other reasons?
Well, let's just put it on the table, okay? Since because we talking about marriage now, we're gonna break this down.
Hold on,
Certain women,
hold on.
certain women, listen, certain women, this is how they view you. I'm just gonna put it on the table so we can get it out the way. They Claire Huxtable viewed Bill Cosby, marriage material husband. Why? Because he was able to provide her a certain lifestyle, okay, that was suitable for her. And it was compatible because you know why? Because that's what she was trying to get for herself. So you can't you gotta have somebody that's on your level. Now if Claire, like I just said about Claire, you trying to make Claire out to be a gold digger. No, she was not. She already was taking care of her ass, bro. That's different. It's different than if somebody already looking out for their ass and somebody ain't looking out for their ass and they want you to look out for them. That's different. It wasn't like that, bro. She found somebody. She went to college. He went to college. You see what I'm saying? That's different. So she looked at him as a great mate, bro, because of what he was
I'll,
doing.
I'll, I'll, I'll say this. You know, 'cause those are two different universes. You can also argue that their spiritual beliefs and things of that nature kind of just aligned and they were equally yoked. That could definitely be the case there. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh,
I'm a,
she was cut chasing and it was about
I'm gonna
the money.
put it to you like this. Let me say that you can take it back over after this. I'm gonna put it to you like this. This is the difference between what Claire would have did with James and Bill than with Bill Cosby. Okay, what she wouldn't have did with James, she would have did for Bill. She would have if say for instance something happened to Bill Cosby, they got all this going on, and he financially went down, or something happened to him, she would she would have took care of the bills for Bill Cosby. You know why? If he couldn't do it, if he wasn't providing for a short amount of time, she would have stayed with him and paid the bills. You know why? Because he was providing. He was at a level. She wouldn't have did that for James. You see the difference? She wouldn't have did that for James Evans, bro. Because she would have looked at James Evans as somebody that was okay with accepting, you know, with accepting mediocrity, bro. She couldn't have stayed with James Evans. She would have tried. She would have probably did it for a little bit, but she would have looked at him as somebody who didn't want to get better, bro. And she would have left James Evans right there in that house and
We
went with somebody else because she is
we went.
because let me just break it down to you right here. Okay, she she cannot look at the way she looked at Bill Cosby as somebody over her. She looked at James Evans probably somebody beneath her. She ain't gonna be submissive and all that to him.
You just made my point.
She not.
You just all you did was make my point.
She not though.
Florida,
I mean,
Florida, you just made my point. Florida Evans was the more realer between the two because she was there from the ground up when all the shit was bad and she went through the
but
struggle. They argued, they had fights, they had all types of stuff going on.
yeah,
She knew his pocket was low and still was there trying to make things right.
yeah, but
She was she was
she also tolerated that lifestyle for her kids. That was fucked up what she did. That was wrong.
she didn't nah she didn't tolerate it.
She
She
did,
didn't
bro.
tolerate it. Don't do that. Don't do that.
She did.
She
Cause
didn't
look,
she
cause
didn't
look, she
tolerate.
was
The only difference is the way she communicated with Michael and them was a lot different than how it was with Claire. That's it. She supported them. She was there with them. She encouraged them.
let's talk about when she tried to get that job though. Remember that? And see back then that was back then that was in my when they was together because that was in my grandparents' time. So when that situation was similar to my grandparents. So when they was doing that, that's what happened with my grandparents, and she was making a little money. Now back then he knew that he wasn't making a lot of money. Let's just put the shit on the table. So he was insecure. James Evans was insecure on the show because he looked at his wife was working. Back then, it was it was like a rule or some type of rule. They ain't want you supposed to take care of your wife. You don't supposed to let your wife work. You married her and all that. You got to come up with all the
That's
bacon.
the,
He wasn't bringing home all the damn bacon, and because of that, that's why the day is the way it is today because of that bullshit like that. He wasn't bringing home the bacon, and you supposed to really let your wife be a teammate, and that's what's going on today. It got all out of control that because a woman works, it make the merge be fucked up, so to speak. The merge end up ending because the man don't feel like the man no more. You see what I'm saying? He probably got somebody that's looking at him in his eyes as far as his pocket is concerned. You see what I'm saying? And that's why he felt insecure. But if you flip the script and go to the Huxtables, Bill Cosby wasn't insecure, and his wife was making bread.
yeah, because he was making more than her. That's why
Not a lot.
he was making more than her. Doctors make
He was
significantly a lot more than lawyers.
he was a doctor, and she was a lawyer, right? So
I just
it worked.
established it.
So it worked out. You see what I'm saying? Both of them went to college. They found somebody that was on their level, and it worked out. Florida,
She
what the hell did
found
what the hell did Florida do work wise to help James Evans' life out? But just stay with him.
Oh, I know where you're
What
going,
she
bro.
do to
We're
help
not
him
going to
out?
do. We're not.
Other than other than other than
What you
try to
mean?
other than
What you
other than
mean?
try to mother the kids. She was good with
She
the
was.
kids.
That's exactly what she did. She was a mother, nigga. She was a mother. She was a wife. She cooked. She cleaned. She rubbed his back. She didn't give him a headache when he came in the house. That's what she did. That's what she did. She didn't have her hand out every day asking for this and asking for that. She wasn't nagging him every 5 minutes about what was going on with this, that, and the third. She allowed him to be the man.
And you say
That's,
that's what's missing from modern day.
that's exactly what's missing.
So let me ask you this: so what happens when you find somebody that's not allowing you to do the things that allowing you to be the more masculine one?
Move on.
Hmm?
Move on. Find somebody that fits into your mold,
I
to your
think
walk.
it's a mental. Some of them got like a mental block with that. I don't. I think it's some type of mental thing going on where they actually think that they wearing the pants, and there's nothing wrong with letting a man lead, or the man supposed to lead anyway. He supposed to know how to lead. That's another issue. They
The
don't.
reason,
Hmm?
the reason why the reason why that shit trigger them so much because it makes it sound like they're enslaved. The connotation, the stigma behind it makes it come off as if they're being slaves. They don't like that shit. They don't like the idea of being looked at like they're a slave or you
Would
own.
you would you want, okay, in order to keep the peace, would you want a woman to just stay home and clean your house while you work all day and come and do all the shit that you said Florida was doing with James, do you want somebody like that, or would you like somebody that's helping you a little bit financially too? Because think about it before you answer. Think about it. James Evans was working, right? Would in your right mind wouldn't the family had a better house or a better living condition if her ass did it too, right? They would have lived a little
Not,
better or somewhere better.
not
Them was
necessarily.
her kids too, though. You see what I'm saying?
And she played her part. I think it depends on you.
But
And
I
what,
think it's a lack of
but
education too. I'm just saying, Claire Huxtable was more educated than Florida Evans, bro. I'm not saying they two black queens though, no doubt. Like they positions on that show, they was some big chessboard players. Like put it like this, every great man got to have a great woman in their corner, and they was the definition of that on television. They was the definition. They play. It was in two different ways, but they was the definition. You gotta be able to keep your man up, and Florida did that, and Claire Huxtable did that. It was time she had to step up, and she stepped up. So with the kids and everything, they had 5 kids, and then good times. Florida and James had 3.
my apologies, but we we went completely off the whole topic. We was talking about top 5 TV dads thing, and then it turned into something else. But even though you probably think it was just a television show, a lot of the way the writers put together those shows, man, it goes to tell you that they had some knowledge of what the,
But
the household
but but
was.
but but listen to this though, and this is something that's okay. I'm still gonna give James Evans his props because he deserved it. Okay, he deserved his
you
props.
still you still
So
you still
no,
want to do
not
this, huh?
yeah, because I'm about to show you the difference. Okay, so if you go back to the show Good Times, the show Good Times was done in the '70s, bro. This show was before the other shows. Those other TV dads didn't exist. The problem you have is that you and everybody else in your mind, you think that because James Evans was like the common man, you think that every black family supposed to resemble that. And when you saw Bill Cosby in the Cosby Show, and then when you saw uh, 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 Carl Winslow, Family Matters, and then you saw Philip Banks with Fresh Prince of Bel Air. They was more of a successful black family at that time. See how time moved on, went from the '70s where all y'all do is some shit, y'all poor black motherfuckers, and then even George Jefferson and all that, and then you move to the '80s, and you start seeing black families look with a little more class. You see what I'm saying? A little bit more money, some college educations and stuff, and some mansions, and you like, dang, where this come from? It really saying that it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't supposed to have that, but actually, in actuality, that's where that's where James Evans paved the way to get those other shows because he suffered. He had no money, bro. He had 3 kids and a wife, and he stayed in the ghetto in poverty with all that crime and all that. And he didn't. And all he ever did, and he even said it on the show, is I just want to get my family out of here. You see what I'm saying? So it went from that point to you see the Bill Cosbys of the world. You saw Philip Banks. You saw Carl Winslow. And you see their houses, and then look at James Evans. You see what I'm saying? It transformed. Look what James Evans had to go through to get to them. So you gotta celebrate that. He
Yeah,
suffered.
that nigga, he's like he's on the Mount Rushmore.
He's he on my Mount Rushmore. I gotta put him there because he was on TV dealing with them struggles for I don't know how many years to get to get to a successful black family. You see what I'm saying? Success ain't always about money. I still view them as a success because they stayed together. That's one. And it was more to it than the money. It was the lessons that he was trying to teach the kids and stuff so they can be better. But James Evans struggled, bro. He paid the piper to get to those other shows, bro. Once the 80s and 90s got there, it was better. So you just gotta look at how they viewed the family then, and then how they viewed the family now. It was different.
That's a whole nother topic. But shit, we argued more over them two shows than any of the other ones, and that was just five. So
Yeah, we ain't even say nothing about Carl Winslow. He was a great
you can only
dad too.
imagine you can only imagine 10, adding five more to that. But yeah, Carl Winslow was one of them ones too. Definitely was.
He had a
What?
go ahead.
Now I'm gonna let you finish your thought because I was going to segue into something else. We here, so
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, yeah, he was the same as like he was the same. He had a black queen. Like Harriet was awesome, bro. She was an awesome wife. You know what I'm saying? She was awesome. And and she helped out a little bit, but she was more like Florida Evans a little bit. Now if you go to the Jeffersons, George Jefferson, uh what did Louise do with George? George was making some bread. But what was Louise doing? He had a butler too, didn't
yeah,
he? You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
She was down with George, but why was she really down with George? George was a short little motherfucker too. See what I'm saying? George
What?
had a what he had a cleaning business. He had his own business, right? Okay. And what did Florida? I'm just saying he had something going, but what did Florida have? I mean, what did Weezy have? My bad. What did Weezy have on that show to help George out? See what I'm saying? But they was
You
married.
see, I love somebody, anybody watch this back. I want y'all to because this comes up a lot, way
My
more
bad.
often than it appears to. Everybody has their own preference, bro. Tradition from back then, the woman was at home.
That was the 70s.
Your
That's what I'm saying.
your your
Comparing
def.
George to James, they was in the same type of era, right?
I
Wasn't they in the
mean,
same era?
yeah, but
Okay, so
defin
go ahead.
your definition of what a woman contributes to the relationship is, it seems like it's more skewed. You're because it comes off as if you're more so looking at it from a new modern perspective, and I'm still back here in the 70s and 60s and 80s when they were at home and I took care of everything. And what she would do would make life easier on me when I got home while I'm out here in the world taking on bullshit. You're making things easier for me when I get in the house. Your definition of what it means seems more modernized versus mine, which is still set back in the old ways.
Old Testament, yeah. So my thing is, let me see. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, okay, I don't think it's nothing wrong with a man working and a woman working. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's serving. Like when you talk about marriage and all that, because these people was married on the show. So if Weezy, let's just say if Weezy had a job helping out, George went out, did his business. Weezy got back. Weezy, George would have wanted a meal. Weezy wouldn't have wanted to fix that shit because she was tired, right? Right. So that's not being a wife. You see what I'm saying? You're not being a good wife. You're not being a good husband because now she's tired. You hungry. You see what I'm saying? But the money got made today. Both of y'all made some money. So what I'm trying to say is, what's wrong with husband or wife in them roles serving each other? What's wrong with that? She
I
wanted to help out with the
said
bills.
it.
She wanted to help out with the bills. Or you got somebody and you working and you meet somebody and they working. What's wrong with bringing that shit together? What's wrong with being a unstoppable team? You know, ain't nobody here to be a slave to somebody else. You go home, bring home the bacon, and then if she ain't cook, you gonna curse her out. Shit like that. Because you felt like she should have did that because you providing a lifestyle or providing money with her. You see what I'm saying? The reason why I say that's some bullshit too, because it's almost like you making her out to be a slave to you because you're working and you're expecting her to do all these other duties. But the truth is, y'all can do that shit together. Why can't you come home and clean the house too? Why can't you bring home or go to the grocery store too sometimes and get some food? Why can't y'all cook dinner together and eat like a couple? You see what I'm saying? Because you feel like because she supposed to be in the kitchen and she supposed to do that, or she feel like you supposed to go out and make all the money and give it to me. That's bullshit. Hell no. We got to do it together. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. That's all. That's all I'm really getting at is that okay? If everybody like if she had her own, or you meet somebody that got their own, and you got your own, right? Y'all can y'all would be more freely to get to know each other than if somebody didn't have shit and everybody else had everything else because you wouldn't really get the true them because they only care about what you got. They fall in love with that pocket, and I just feel like you'll really find out who really wants to get to know you because the truth is you're saying what you're looking for to say is that you want somebody to actually love you for yourself, for who you is, and not what you can do. And you're not gonna get that being like that. It's not gonna happen. You gotta people gotta choose you. They can't just need you. They gotta want you. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like if you did a good service for yourself and they did a good service for themselves, then why can't y'all just want each other? What's wrong with that? Why you gotta just why you only gonna want me if you don't have nothing? That's not cool. When they can go when those women right there, they was taught to be real good housewives while they make go out and make the money and they help out around the house. So let me ask you this. You mean to tell me that just because a man went out and worked all day, that he don't know how to clean the toilet, he don't know how to put away groceries, he don't know how to separate his laundry, he don't know how to do none of that shit because he went out and bust his ass. He don't know none of that.
You
Some
know,
men still think like that. They still think like I don't because I worked all day, I don't have a clue how to make a meal. I don't have a clue how to you know what I'm saying? Get iron my clothes and all this shit. That's bullshit.
what? Let me know when you
Go ahead.
know
You
when.
go ahead. Take over. Take over.
I'm trying to figure out where I want to start because you you said a whole lot, and I feel like Marvel is just kind of rolling around an empty can. Uh, uh, I said earlier that if you want someone who can assist you economically as well as in other avenues, if that's your preference and
Mm-hmm.
it works for you, because it doesn't work for everyone, but if it works for you, go for it. Everyone's system is different. Um, Majority of men know how to clean and cook. Some microwave more than others and eat cereal more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, most men already know how to take care of themselves.
Right.
So your argument about them complaining about having to do all that when they get home is point. My thing is, if you decide that you want to take certain steps in a relationship with someone, you're at home, and, and your position in my life is to make it easier on me if I'm doing all of the other things on the list to make sure that you are stable and safe and protected. I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have to say anything to you about what needs to be done.
Right.
That's just like me living alone. I know I have to pay the bill, but I don't do it. And then my lights get cut off. Who am I going to blame about that? Or I know I got to eat something because if I don't put some type of nutrients in my body, I am not going to be at my most optimal at work. I'm not going to be able to provide or perform at the best capabilities that I can if I don't do X, Y, and Z. It's no different than being in a relationship. A man has to do 30 things compared to a woman having to only do two or three things.
And
And,
what's that?
and there's a whole
And what's that? What's the two or three
men
things they got to do?
but not be argumentative and masculine, cook, and be your peace. Am I missing something? Am I asking for? And that men don't ask for a lot
But
because
what's
we
wrong?
do
But what?
damn near.
But
We, we,
what's wrong with
we
a
so
female
you
taking care
so
of
I gotta cook.
hey,
I got so hold on. So I bust my ass 40, 60, 80 hours a week and
mm-hmm.
still gotta come home and still gotta come home and do all this shit too.
Okay, listen, let me stop you right there. Yes, you do.
And then and hoping hold on. And I got you telling me so I got to do that, come home, still do this, and then the odds of me even getting sex is 30, 70, if anything, because you might not feel like it. I I might as well be by myself. I was
That's what I about.
doing
That's what I was
I
about to
I,
say.
I was doing it by myself before. I might as well do it by myself now. What's the point of you being
That's what I was
here?
about to say. So you pretty much saying I'm working 40 to 80 hours a week, busting my ass, right? Okay, because you can work. You gonna have to work the 40 or 80 regardless because you got a damn job. You gonna have to work the 40 to 80 regardless because you got to take care of yourself. But you saying it's a problem. It's only a problem because you know you gotta provide for a woman. So that's the anger piece right there. It's not a problem if it's just for you. You don't mind coming home, putting you some oodles and noodles on, or wiping the counter, or hitting the dishes. If your ass just in there, but you mad because you taking your resources and you're putting it on somebody else's bill, maybe her phone bill, cable bill, whatever, and you're mad that you can't even get a meal when you get in the house. That's an issue. That's the issue. Oh,
No, no, it's not. This is why it's not an issue. I'm gonna break this down for you.
why would that be an issue? What?
What 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 does man have to do in order to even get the relationship? Men are the ones who control relationships. Women control sex. But in order for the man to get sex, he has to meet certain requirements. He has to look a certain way. He has to dress a certain way. He has to smell a certain way. He has to have a certain height. He has to have certain credentials. He has to have certain financial back. He has to meet to
No, it's
10 to 30 different he has to meet all of these different requirements in order for the woman to look at him as a suitable companion before they even get into the relationship.
well. I'm
Now,
gonna put it to
now,
you like this. I'm gonna put it to you like this. I'm gonna stop right there. All of that stuff you just named, what you just ran down, you pretty much talking about 5, 6 dudes right there. 5, 6, 7 dudes. Ain't no one dude gonna have all that. So that's where you throw all that in the garbage. What they want, fuck what they want. You you gonna be who you are, and the right women gonna fall in line. You're not. That's how it really is. You're not gonna get or attract every single type of female out here. It's not happening. No matter what you do. Okay. So the best way you can do it is be yourself and take care of yourself, keep yourself up, and yeah, women will want to sleep with you for that. Yeah, they would. So I mean, it's not. I don't look at it as being that complicated. It's a flat out choice.
but see, you gotta let me finish my train of thought. You, yeah, I was getting somewhere, and you kind of, you derailed my trajectory.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Because because what we're talking about now has nothing to do with a top five list or anything of that nature. And my issue is women do not know how to take care of men. That's my problem. Women do not have the same amount of compassion towards men unless, and
You
I've
providing something.
heard this before.
You got to be providing
I've heard this
something.
before. I've heard this before, and I believe if she doesn't love you more, it's not going to work out.
If she don't respect you, it's not gonna work.
Oh,
She don't respect you,
because
she's not gonna love you.
she's not gonna she's not gonna do the things that is required to keep.
Correct.
And that's where and basically I just summed up my grievances. Don't get in a relationship with someone if you're not willing to do your part to maintain the relationship how it's supposed to be ran. You know, I should I can do it. I have no problem. Let's be very clear here. Men do not have a problem taking care of their woman. We don't even really ask for much. The little we ask for, we get pushback, we get complaints, we get bitching and all this. We don't ask much. We don't go out here complaining about what the world did to us. We eat the shit up, come home, and go back at it another day. We don't be talking about our feelings, get to the woman, none of that. We don't
Right.
do all of that. So my thing is, we don't have no problem giving you everything that you want because men love harder than women. We don't have no problem riding for you and taking care of you and this and that. We don't complain about that shit. Look at
We do have a
think about
problem.
this.
We do have a
Think
problem.
think hold on. I'm not think about this. Do women give a fuck about Father's Day?
The right women do, yeah.
Do you see any podcast that talk about Father's Day or talk about how often women do you see any women's podcast? I should have rephrased that. Do you see any women's podcast that talk about the struggles that men deal with?
Yeah, it
How
do
many?
pop up. It's not as much, but they do comment on what men do go through. Yeah.
What's the percentage of women versus men podcast?
It's one sided. It's not
Okay,
it's
I rest my case. So if I gotta work 80 hours and come home and still do everything, what are you here for? Not giving me no sex when I need it or when I feel like I should have it. I gotta cook. I can already do that on my own. I can watch a porno if I want to, that if it comes down to it, or I can pay for it. I can clean my own clothes. I can do pretty much damn near everything that you're supposed to be in here for. What's the point of you being here if
so
you're just going to be in
what
here?
it brings me back to my point. If let's flip it a little bit. If she had the same fucking bread you had, she'll look at you like garbage. Like, that type of woman thinking is like, because you got money, you don't need a man to do, I don't need your money. You know how women say, I don't need no man, I don't need your money, so I don't need a man. That's not true. Money do not erase all the other stuff that men provide for women. So just because you might got money and you looking at yourself as Miss Independent, I'm hey, I talk to women that, okay, for example, they got they okay financially. She got her own money. Let's just go with that. But she still needs a man because she said, I don't like to take out my own garbage. I wish I had a man. I don't like to take out my own garbage. I need something fixed. I don't know a fucking thing about cars. You see what I'm saying? Shit like that. So money, just because you might got some money, it don't mean that you don't need a man, sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? You still gonna need a man. Just because a man got money and all of that, it's some things that he need from a woman's perspective that can provide. But the problem we have, going back to what you said, is that it's true. Men don't have a problem with providing and looking out for a woman and all of that. But we have a problem with the woman that chooses not to provide for herself. That's the problem. We don't like that. Men don't like that. We don't want to take care of you. You know, you're not a child. You see what I'm saying? You're not. It's, even kids grow up. You see what I'm saying? You're not saying to yourself, I'm gonna take care of him till I die. No. You raise these kids, they gotta take care of themselves. So if we can raise kids to take care of themselves, why would we want to uh take care of a grown ass woman that's not even trying to take care of herself? That's the problem right there. That's what we don't like. Yeah, if you taking care of yourself, of course we'll go over and beyond to look out for you then, because you know why? It's not a lot of slack off us. We don't mind doing that. If
You do realize you do realize that their money is their money and not yours. You
no,
ain't getting a
that's
single dime of that. You're
that's
not getting a dime of none of
that's if you're dealing with who you're dealing with. That's not true. All women, some women will give you their money if
that.
if
If they
hold up, if I'm gonna
if they
tell you, if they respect you and love you. So when you getting
all
stuff,
right, and
when you getting
my
stuff like that, you need to
my
build
point.
build a situation out, because she's fitting you. She's staying with you, keeping her money. You saying her money, and she's constantly staying with you, and you're constantly giving up your money, and you know she has money. Well, you know what that means. You
All right, and my point is that's the majority of the women that they don't give a fuck about none of us.
not all of them, not all of them.
I said majority. I ain't say all. I said majority.
If a
Good
woman
majority.
if a woman if a woman is like this, if a woman is into you like you think she's supposed to be to you, then yes, she will go in her purse and buy you a pair of Jordans. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt her to do that. You see what I'm saying? And so just like we can go in our wallet, if she's our woman, just like we can go in our wallet and say and give her some money and say, go get your nails done, go get your hair done. It's no different than her going in her purse and treating you and saying, go get your hair cut and all that. Go get your hair
Nigga,
cut.
how often does that shit happen?
Listen to what I'm saying. It happens if you're in a respect. I'm gonna use the word respect. If you're in a respectable relationship and your woman is feeling you, yes, it is women out here that will reach in their purse and treat you and and tell you to go take care of your hair. I got your hair today. Simple as that.
Well, that, yeah, I hate.
Yeah. That's the type of relationship you really probably need. You know what I'm
I
saying?
still, I still think that Claire Huxtable was an opportunist, and given any other situation, she would have been out of there. She
Well,
wouldn't have been able
I
to do
I can't
what
I,
Florida did.
I can't really say she used Bill, because I mean, yeah, Bill, you could say Bill made a little more bread than her. Okay, that was the '80s, but let's not act like, okay, Bill was making bread, but let's not act like that Bill could have took care of that whole house by himself in that time, for what he was making. No,
Bruh,
he
he was a
couldn't.
doctor. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he wouldn't have been. Nah, he wouldn't have been able to take care of all the expenses of that house.
Matter of
You
fact,
make you making
matter
it
of fact,
seem like
he was.
that.
Hold
You,
on, let me see something.
you making it seem like that. You making it seem like Bill just let Claire stack her bread and just lived off of him for all the years.
That's not what I'm. That's not what I'm
That
saying.
that
My
didn't
my
happen.
whole
That didn't happen. Claire had to push out some bread too, bro. You think she was working for nothing? Come on, bro. They was a family. They had kids. They had the kids. They had stuff going on with these kids, stuff like that. By the way, they was getting they had to pay for the put them through colleges and shit. Like, come on, bro. All their kids
See
went
that?
through college, bro. Come on.
See that?
No, I can't see it. It's blurry.
Surgeons
That's,
make surgeons make 300 to 580K per year.
but
You
for,
telling
for,
me you tell
for
you
one,
telling me that man
he
couldn't
wasn't he
afford
wasn't
that
he
house?
wasn't he wasn't a surgeon, bro. What are you talking about? You know what? Do you know
Yes,
what
he
Bill?
would.
Do you know what Bill Cosby did on the Cosby Show, bro? He wasn't a surgeon. Is you crazy?
Yes,
He
he would.
he delivered babies, bro. He looked at women's vaginas.
Oh, right,
You
right,
forgot you
right.
forgot, huh? And then she was a lawyer. So come on, bro.
All right, well, I stand correct.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, OBGYN.
yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna look that
Thank
up.
you. But you making it seem like they didn't need each other, bro. Come on, bro. Think about it. Yeah.
It's still around the same amount, 260 to 480K a year.
Shit. Now when you got what was they staying at? You see the house they had?
One day
That
in
was in the
New York,
they was in a nice they was in Manhattan, I think. That house is like that shit cost, bro. He couldn't have paid for all that.
but that was what that was early. That was the
That was
80s
the
though. That shit was
yeah,
it,
but that was the 80s, bro. But listen, you gotta look at let's go back to the good times and then go back to that. You gotta look at the fact that good times they was in the damn ghetto. Everybody can get in there. Think about when Bill and them broke through and got in a place like that in the 80s. That was new. That shit was new for TV. That was new to see that. They, everybody, you acting like the black family was always on a block like that. No, they was probably one of the first ones. So don't make it seem like Bill took his only Bill's career took him in that house because it didn't. Come on, bro. He had to
wasn't
have
it?
he had to have a strong woman by his side, and that's why it happened, bro.
All right,
Claire
okay.
Huxtable.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we just
Can't
gonna
you?
sit here and act like men. We just gonna sit here and act like men couldn't afford their own
Okay, I'm gonna
men.
put it to you like this.
Men.
I'm gonna put it to you like this. Okay, let me break it down to you how a real man would think. Okay, if Bill Cosby was going in, you think Bill Cosby would have went in that house with his own check without Claire? The only reason why they got the Joan is because Claire wanted something great and she was gonna help him. If it was just him, he'll think about saving money. We're not thinking about spending money. So come on, you think he would offer his bread up by himself to go on something
Is it? Is
like
it?
that?
Is it? Is, hold on. I got you right here. True or false? Do men work that hard for themselves or for their family, or for the possibility of a future family? Do they save and work all their life
A man
to get
listen,
into a
a
I
man
mean,
gotta listen, a man gotta take care of himself first. You're not gonna have no family if you don't do that.
even 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 still though, the ultimate goal is to have a family.
Yeah, but you're not gonna have one. You see what I'm saying?
But we're talking about the people who do it for the family. We're not talking about all that.
Okay, so
Clearly,
at that point you already got a family. So yeah, you'll have to step it up. You know why? Because you got a wife too.
so
You got a wife
so
too. You know?
so you can't sit here and say he didn't do all of that for the family. He worked his ass off because he knew one day he was going to want a family and
Okay.
he had to be financially stable.
Okay, but what I'm saying is he wouldn't have had to spend all that bread for that house He could have spent something slight and been living okay by himself. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna
But
offer all that up.
yeah, yeah, if he was single, but
That's
he
what
has a family,
that's what I'm
we're not,
saying. So that's
we're
why
not, we're
that's
not,
why
we're not.
that's why it makes sense for them to got that house because he had a wife that was providing with him. Do you understand? She's a
He
lawyer,
no, he was doing him way before he met her though.
bro. So so what you saying? You saying he had that house before he even knew his wife?
I'm saying he already knew in his mind what he was going to do prior to meeting her.
Would you buy a big
She,
old would you buy a big old mansion hoping to attract a wife, or would you just
I'm,
get you somewhere and live nice, live comfortable for your with your own means?
if I'm single, yeah.
Okay,
If I'm,
so
if
so
I'm,
let's
if
so
I'm,
so if you single, you would do that, right? Right?
I will get
It's
something
just
for
like
me. I will
it's
get
just
something.
okay. It's just like a vehicle. You're not gonna fucking buy a big old Escalade if you know you ain't got no fucking kids. You're gonna get you a nice little ride for
Hey,
you.
no, no, I like trucks. I did.
But you're not gonna come on a van or whatever. You're not gonna get nothing spacious. What you know how
Yes,
people gotta go from how people
yes,
go from
I
single
would.
to a family. They'll have to get a spacious vehicle if you got more
No,
people.
I no, I would get a truck. Matter of fact, I got a truck. So yeah, uh, I'm not buying no minivan. No, no, no. I'm not
Mm.
buying a minivan, but I will get a truck. Yeah, that's a horrible comparison. That man, every man, in my opinion, they spend their life trying to cultivate themselves to be the best versions of themselves. Some people lose their purpose and they fall flat. They forget, what
Who
they
they
are
are.
called here for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for them, it's an unfortunate situation. But for the most part, a man wants to be the best version of himself. He wants to craft his gift. He wants to have some importance and legacy left over when everything is all said and done. Most want kids. Most want a wife. Most want to walk down the aisle and want to provide for their family. They start by working on themselves, making sure that they are fit mentally, emotionally, all of that. They make sure that their finances are in order. Once they know that they're good to go, they save and save and work for the one day where, if it's possible, they come into contact with someone that they can give all of that to. There's there are a few people who don't want kids and don't want to be married, but there's more that actually want. The unfortunate part about it is a lot of us aren't probably going to get it because now in 2023 we live in a totally different hedonistic, superficial landscape. Everything is about height, money, and et cetera and et cetera. And I stand by that. But that's a whole other thing.
Well, you just gotta
But
find
shout
somebody
out,
that's
shout out.
that's still on morals. You know what I'm saying? You gotta find somebody still on morals because ain't no man gonna give his whole life fortune to no woman in his right frame of mind. You're not doing that. He'll do it. He only gonna do it for the right woman. And what I mean by the right woman is she got it. She all, yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
yeah,
yeah, she got it. She got to be already. She got to already have the same mindset. Like everything that you described the man to do, and how he was saving up and working on his life and all that. He got to meet somebody that was already in that frame. You see what I'm saying? And that's the only way that it go down. But outside of that, ain't nobody just saving all that up to just hand it over. It don't work that way. You got you gotta match me. You gotta be my partner. You gotta be on my side. You see what I'm saying? That's the only way it's gonna go down. If you don't have my back, like if you can't walk with me, what I'm trying to do, then no. The answer is no. Can't do it. And it all comes back to the mindset. Like you said, you got to have a mindset to walk. You want to walk down the aisle one day. You want a family and all that, but you want all of that. That don't mean they want that. So you gotta you gotta have the matching mindsets. Somebody that wants to do it like you, wants it just as bad as you, and then you do that. So what I'm saying is, just because somebody save it all up, it don't mean that the first woman is worthy. Because a lot of these women ain't worthy of what you're willing to do or what you willing to give and what you and all that. They're not worthy of that. You know, and that's what I think that's what a lot of guys trip themselves up at. They think they you know what I'm saying they've been hoodwinked a little bit. So you gotta find somebody that's, like I say, on your same mindset, on your level. And I'm not saying that she's saving up her life savings to give to you either. But I think that if you find somebody that's saving like you, she, you will want to give. It's a difference. It's a difference in needing to give and I want to do it. That's the problem. That's
And on that note, we went from Will Smith, Uncle Bill, to dynamic of relationships and what
yeah. People got to be in their natural roles in order for it to work. It's not gonna never work if it don't have a balance. A balance is both people got to be having the same walk, not one person. One person can't do more than the other. You know what I'm saying? It got to be a balance, and that's the only.
the fact that you still the fact that you still going on and on about this just proves my point again. You're you're living in this modern ideal. I'm still in the older original version. I would rather be in the original older version than in this new version.
Yeah, but people still got to be willing to give. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't willing to serve your mate, it's not gonna work. Ain't nobody a slave for somebody else. It don't work like that. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
not
People
it's
got
not about being it's not about being asleep.
well. I'm gonna say getting used. Can we say that? If you just you
That's the
if people just want to get used, then knock yourself out. Go ahead, do it. You know what I'm saying? But you'll learn in the end to do that no more. With certain people. Everybody don't get the same version of you. Everybody shouldn't deserve. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much what I'm saying is you got the valuable with you. You got valuables, and if you giving people discounts, you're gonna lose like that. You can't give people discounts. People gotta earn what you got. That's what I'm saying. If they not willing to earn it, that mean they really don't see what you see. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back to you. I'm done. But yeah, hopefully that's some food for thought, and we'll get on with this later.
I ain't gonna hold you. This was this was like a Friday night type of live. To be honest, we were in on different little subjects And I want to say that I'm not advocating for certain things to take place in people's lives. You choose to do what you want to do with he or she or whoever it may be. At the end of the day, we all got to do what's best for us. At the same token, you believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with having different opinions in certain matters,
Correct.
as long as, there's some understanding at the end of the goal is ultimately the same on everybody's perspective. Now, if it's not, then by all means, go get it how you gotta get it. But outside of that, I'm good, man. I'm good. There was a lot covered here. We ain't even really get to what we was going to actually talk about, which is
Yeah,
dope. How
I kind of knew that from the beginning. Once we did the top 10, once we revisited that again, I saw how that went. I was like, yeah, we'll get to that at another time. I know how these discussions go. So I mean, it was still dope or whatever. This was still like that conversation, man. And yeah, I guess we'll cover something else different at another time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We can hop on the train tomorrow, man. Cause I ain't say I'm off too early. Today is my Friday.
Oh, so that
Uh,
this your Friday too, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm about to try
we
that
need
again.
that, man. We need it.
Yeah, next week will be hell. I gotta get my title stuff with and all that. Uh, we working about to hop hop in these DMs, man. Try to get some stuff together for Saturday. But yeah, another dope one. Another dope. And that
All
was
right.
only five. That was only five.
We ain't do the
Now, if you,
we ain't do the bottom.
y'all catch the joint I did, man. I broke down 20, 20 people on that list. And some of them I ain't even named here. Uh, y'all stay on the lookout for that and catch out the other lives that I got posted up on the channel. Saturday, we moving over to YouTube. We making it happen. We're going to be a little more proactive. And I salute and appreciate you pushing me today on this.
Oh yeah, my bad, man. My mic went out. But yeah, I hear that last part. I mean, it was it was a good show, good topic, man. We got this is what we got to deliver. So yeah, we can do the bottom five. But yeah, that was my top five, and we can get a list up, and we can present that on the next junk if you want.
If we gonna do another one, we might as well just have our official 10. I'll write down my official 10, and we can just do it like that. Just go into our next subject.
Cool, cool. That's a bet. I'm with it.
But yeah, man, we about to sign off. I'm gonna go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of your evening. I know I am,
It's
and
time. What's that word you used last time? It's time to what? Decompress.
uh-huh, like air match.
It's time. All right.
Yeah, man, you go ahead. No cap, all world.
Always, baby. We delivered. Peace. And when they can go, when those women right there, they was taught to be real good housewives while they make go out and make the money and they help out around the house. So let me ask you
Yeah,
this.
and she has a group of little associates that she be hanging out with at work. I wouldn't consider them actual friends, but she hang out with them and she be posting on Instagram and shit like that. But as far as dating, yeah, I think she has a habit of messing. Yeah, it's one of them situations. Donnell, he said we got a habit of messing around with toxic people. And I think she just wants some type of affection of any kind, whether it comes from a good place or a bad place. Yeah, we all have. Yeah, you being political about it. I'm going I'm going to be 100 about it from all ends of the spectrum. What she's doing is sinful and shameful in the sight of God. Whether or not it's my business to judge or anyone's, it's not my place. I don't care. I care to the extent that um, when your life is expired and you have to sit in front of the Creator and He has to decide whether or not your lifestyle is something that He's okay with or not. That's the problem. That's where it gets more serious. While you're here, it's not my place to decide what He's going to forgive and what He's not going to forgive. But if we looking at it from all different areas and different perspectives, biblically, what you're doing is wrong. And at the end of the day, that spirit is not something that is going to be blessed. God is not going to bless that. Why would He bless something that's dirty and filthy and smells in His nose? He's not going to look at this and say, "Oh, she's a good person. You're this and that. I'm going to okay it." No, you're not supposed to be dating someone of your same sex. That's just the bottom line to it. Now, you're not going to hear me tell her that or say that to anybody, but that's my stance on it. That's my belief. I don't judge nobody for it, but I will tell you this is how I feel about it. Now, whether or not you agree with my part on it, hey, we can agree to disagree. But that's the bottom line to it. You dating someone that's in your lane. It's a sin. What you're doing, and all you're doing is creating more um, heartache, frustration, and confusion. You're inviting more demons into your life. That's it. That's all you're really doing. So, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to come off like I'm insensitive to it. I mean, yeah, even being heterosexual, you still gotta deal with stuff when your time calls. So exactly. So I mean, my, where I'm at is if you if you live and move and operate a certain way, being at your age, knowing what you know, whether you study every day, if you know what you know and you still continue to live the way you live, there's no excuse for why you keep doing it. But you have, you, absolutely. And that's exactly why, when it's all said and done, I couldn't have a greater love or respect for anyone than him because he can look at you and your situations and your circumstances and know better than you and anyone else the ultimate plan and reasoning behind certain things. That's why I could never point the finger at anyone or or condemn you or next person for however they choose to live or move. I hurt for her. I'm closer to her than damn near everybody but my grandmother. But at the end of the day, what's wrong is wrong. What's right is right. I wouldn't expect anyone to look at me any different. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You gotta look. I mean, yeah. Go ahead.